In lesson 12, we're going to continue with looking at the distributive property, and we're going to look at how you can use models, specifically tape diagrams and area models, to represent the distributive property. So if you look right here, a reminder, when you have a number times the quantity of a number plus another number, we can use the distributive property to create an addition problem with the multiplication there. So you take your first number times the first number in the parentheses, and you combine them for the first term. You take your first number, also multiply it to the second one, so this is where the distributive property comes. You're going to distribute or give it out to both, and then you write that over there. Whatever sign is the middle, you carry that with you. So this is our tape diagram that will represent this as well. We have a 3x plus 4x plus 3x plus, 3x plus 4y plus 3x plus 4y. And what this is saying is that we're actually going to add all of these together. So we're adding 3x plus 4y plus 3x plus 4y. A way we can say this is two groups of 3x plus 4y. I combine them here, combine them here. The way we would write two groups is we have two groups of the quantity 3x plus 4y. So we use the distributive property to write an equivalent term or equation or expression, and we take 2 times 3, you get 6, and then we keep our variable, so it becomes 6x. So if you follow your arrows, and then we take our 2 times 4y. 2 times 4 gives me 8. I leave the variable, it becomes 8y. Another way you can do this is with the area model. And the area model is we draw however many terms are in the parentheses. That's how many boxes we add. And so I have 2 boxes, and I put 4x over one plus 5 over the other one. And this is my expression that I did that with. So your term on the outside goes as your width or your length, and then your width is inside your parentheses. And so what you do then is that you distribute, you look at this as if it's a rectangle. And so this rectangle has y and 4x, so length times width would be y times 4x, which is what I wrote here. And then we have an addition sign, and then we're going to do this rectangle as well. And my y is that here, so I have my y times 5, and that's my length times my width. So what that gives me is we have 4xy plus 5y, and this term came from y times 4x, which is y times 4x, and 5 times y, which is y times 5 here. And remember, when you do the area model, it's just like multiplying length times width. We can do one more example. So again, let's go ahead and draw our 2 boxes. And let's do the expression 5 times. Let's do 4a plus 3b. So I take what's on the outside and I write it here. And then I take my quantity in the parentheses and I take each term, putting it above the separate rectangles. So we have a 4a and 3b. Using length times width, I'm going to take length times width, 5 times 4a, and then length times width is 5 times 3b. And if you combine these, you get a 20a. 5 times 4 is 20. Keep the variable. We're adding it together. 5 times 3 is 15. Keep your variable. And this term is equal to 20a plus 15b. And again, that just came from the distributive property where we took this 5, multiplied it there, and then we took our 5 and multiplied it to that term there, and you get your 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 3 is 15. And here's our last example. So this is another tape diagram. We have a 2x, a 2x, a 3y, a 3y. This means 2x plus 2x plus 3y plus 3y. What we have here is 2 groups of 2x, and 2 groups of 2x is 2 times 2x. We have 2 groups of 3y, which is 2 groups of 3y. We can do the multiplication, or you have your repeated addition. And 2 groups of 2x would give me 4x, or you could take 2x's plus 2x's would be 4x's, plus 3x plus 3y, which means you have 3y's plus 3 more y's would be 6y. So you get your 4x plus 6y. Now, I wrote that term right here, 4x plus 6y. And then what I did, like we did in lesson 11, is I factored out my greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor between 6 and 4, and if you couldn't do it in your head, you do your factor tree. And our greatest common factor is 2. And so I factored out my 2. And so it would be 2 times 2 times y plus 2 times 3 times y. I'm sorry, this is an x. And so they shared the 2, so I'm able to take the 2 out. I leave what's left, 2x plus 3y. And again, that is the same as 4x plus 6y. And here I can show with the distributive property why that is true. So I'd like you to go ahead and go on into lesson 12 in your book, unless I've told you you have to work with me, and show me lesson 12 when you're done before you go on to your exit ticket.